Hello, geometry students. So today we are going to be adding pieces to our notebook. So if you think about the other day, we added these two vocabulary foldable pages. So for today, I'm going to be starting, if this is page 19, we're going to be starting with page 18. So everybody should have a stapled packet here. You need scissors for today, obviously your notebook. You're going to need tape or glue, and you're also going to need something to write with. If you want to use color, that's up to you. So what we're going to do first is we are going to rip off this top page. Now, keep in mind, before I even get started, if I am going too fast for you, just pause the video and get caught up and then continue on. Okay, so we're going to rip off this first page. We are going to ignore this top line here, and we are going to cut out these three boxes. So please cut them out nice and neat. Remember, this is not for a grade. This is for your notebook, which will benefit you. Again, this is not about me. This is for you. Okay, so again, what we're doing now is we're just cutting out the boxes on the first page of our stapled packet after we ripped it off. Also, please make sure you are cleaning up after yourself. There is no reason to be leaving scraps all over the floor. And again, if you are cutting out your pieces slower than me, then pause the video and get caught up. So we're going to be talking in depth about those pairs of angles that we have discussed already. Okay, so I cut out the three boxes from the first page. We're going to just kind of set them off to the side here. Then next, you're going to rip off the second page. Now this one, we are going to cut out the big box. We're not going to cut out the individual boxes. Again, we're going to cut out the big box. Okay, so now that I've got this big box cut out, what we're going to do is we are going to tape or glue this box to page, again, this was the other day, so we're going to be on page 18, so we're going to put it on the left side of the page here. So again, you can use tape or glue, whatever works for you, whatever you have. I've got some double-sided tape, so I'm going to use this. But again, if you've got regular tape or glue, however you plan to do it, again, you're going to attach this to page 18. You don't have to go crazy with the tape. I'm probably putting more down here than I need, but I guess it's my tape, so. Okay, so notice, I attach this to page, I'm on page 18. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we are going to attach these boxes, okay, so that we're in the correct order here. We're going to put alternate interior angles on the top one. We're going to put alternate exterior angles on the second one. And then finally, we're going to put corresponding on the bottom one. So you can do one of two things here. You can either put a little bit of tape, or I'm sorry, a little bit of glue here, so that we can flip it open, or you can just put a piece of tape on the edge so that you can flap it open. I'm just gonna do tape since that's what I have in my hand here. So notice, again, I'm gonna take a piece of tape, I'm gonna put it in the margin here so I can flip it open. I'm gonna do the same thing with the alternate exterior one. Again, I'm gonna put a piece of tape there so I can flip it open. And then finally, on the third one for the corresponding angles, again, I'm going to put a piece of tape there so I can flip it open. So if you are not done attaching it, please pause the video. Okay, if you are caught up, our next step is gonna be to fill out the page. Okay, so at the top, it says if two, we're gonna add parallel. So if two parallel lines, sorry about that. If two parallel lines, that shouldn't be and, that is a typo on my fault, so I apologize, are cut by a transversal, then the following are true. Okay, so if I look at each one here, alternate interior angles. First off, alternate interior angles, they are interior angles. And remember, they are on the opposite side of the transversal, hence the alternate part. So again, alternate interior angles, first off, are interior angles on opposite sides of the transversal. And if we flip it open, we're gonna say that alternate interior angles are congruent. Remember, congruent means they are the same. So if I look at my picture here and I label the alternate interior angles, so for example, angle 3 is going to be congruent to angle 5. Here's angle 3, there's angle 5. And if I use a little color, if that helps, you know, here's angle 3, here's angle 5, they're congruent. Okay, my other pair of alternate interior angles in the picture are going to be angle 4 and angle 6. And again, 4 and 6 are going to be congruent. So if I grab a different color, maybe like pink, so there's 4 and there's 6, and there's 4 congruent to 6. Okay, also, if you remember from the other day when we talked about alternate interior angles, we talked about how you can see the letter Z in the picture. So if I trace angle 4 and I trace angle 6, you can see that blue Z in the picture. So again, I'm looking for the Z when I'm looking for alternate interior angles. But again, when you have parallel lines that are cut by a transversal, your alternate interior angles are congruent. Okay, next, we're going to talk about our alternate exterior angles. So our alternate exterior angles, I don't know about you, but to me, obviously, they are exterior angles. And again, since they are alternate, they are on opposite sides of the transversal. Okay, so if we flip it open, alternate exterior angles are also congruent. Okay, remember we talked about the other day about the movement that would allow me to state that alternate exterior angles are congruent when we were outside with the sidewalk chalk, and we said that it was probably a rotation that occurred. So in this picture, for example, angle 1 and 7 would be my alternate exterior angles, or one pair. Another pair would be like, for example, angle 2 and angle 8. Those are also alternate exterior angles. So again, if I use a little color, here's 1 and 7. Excuse me. And then we also have angle 2 and 8. Okay. Now, on the final one, corresponding angles. Okay, remember, there's one of each. One of each. One of them is interior and one of them is exterior. And they are on the same side of the transversal. So again, there's one interior, one exterior, and they are on the same side of the transversal. Okay, and corresponding angles are also congruent when you have parallel lines. So again, corresponding angles are congruent. Remember, these are the ones we said that are in the same relative location. So for example, angle 1 would be congruent to angle 5. Okay, angle 2 would be congruent to angle 6. And then we would have angle 3 congruent to angle 7. And then finally, we would have angle 4 congruent to angle 8. So if I do a little color coding here, so here's 1 and 5. let's see here. I don't know if the beige will show up good, but here's 2 and 6. Then we have, let's grab a little blue. We could say 3 is congruent to 7. And then finally we have, let's see here. How about a pink? 4 and 8. And again, remember the other day when we were talking about this, we said one of the things you can look for when you notice corresponding angles in the picture is the F. So if I trace angle 3 and I trace angle 7, notice we can see the F in the picture. And if you're looking at a different pair of angles, you might see like a backwards F or an upside down F. Okay, so this is the first page filled out. So when you're finished with this one, you're going to move on to the second video.